so going to have piles after this. Brian Walls asked a really good question, and I have answered it on the channel. He noticed that I use nothing but Macs, and I am, you know, an avid Apple geek fanboy, whatever you want to call it. I use macOS, and he wondered, does he have to invest in a Mac, switch from Windows, his PC, in order to be a media composer? And I say, abso-fucking-lutely not. It's not necessary. Now, Brian, you tell me that your peers and your friends are kind of taking the piss out of you and saying, you know, you're not taking yourself seriously if you don't switch from PC, Windows to Mac. My answer to that is, if it's good enough for this guy, it's good enough for the rest of us. And I just urge everyone at the beginning of their career, don't do what I did, which was spend every surplus penny I had on really expensive equipment. It's just not necessary. It's not going to make you a better composer. I, for 15 years, didn't go on holiday, and I regret that more than anything else. A 4-year relationship with a Canadian girl, my first love, that I have very little memory of because we didn't create any memories together. One particular incident, I had a windfall of £3,500, a lot of money in 1994, I think it was. What did I spend it on? Holiday? A nice kind of trip away, a staycation? No, I bought a Kurzweil keyboard for £3,000. There's a video I'm very proud of, linked below, with myself and Daniel Pemberton, hugely successful composer, talking about his formative years. And, you know, a very, very famous bit of music he composed was the theme tune to Peep Show. That was made with a Sony Discman and him clicking his fingers down a Spanish well. And he remembers it vividly because it is a vivid memory. It's not about having the best stuff. It's not having the most gear. It's not about, I will get there once I can afford this piece of kit and I'm going to procrastinate the arse out of my life until I get that bit of kit. It's not about that at all. It's what you can do with the resources around you. With kind of half of that spirit in mind, I'm going to make some cool new sounds with quite an expensive guitar pedal that I've just bought. Time for an unboxing. I am anaphylactically allergic to fashion, and I fear following the curve, trying to be fashionable, trying to seem to be fashionable, but worse still, I guess, creatively doing something that's not original, something that's maybe other people are doing. So there's this guitar pedal that's quite expensive, and I fought the urge to get one because I've seen it pop up in loads of people's studios and people putting it on social media going, well, that's my weekend gone, this, that and the other. I fought the impulse until I went on YouTube and saw this. So here it is, hologram, infinite jets, and what I was going to do is try and make some pads with it. I thought that guitar sounded amazing. So what I've done is pulled up my Peel guitar and just got that coming out. I have to have it at a very low level so it doesn't distort the box. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this. Right, okay, first things first, it's always set everything to 12 o'clock. That's my thought there. And I'm going to have it on the first. It's got like kind of voice selectors, so I'm going to have it on voice 0. Let's put that up. I'm not going to put the dry up because I just want to hear the pedal. Right, so I don't like that. So let's try another voice. I have to get the manual up. I really do dislike having to read manuals, especially for a Stompbox. So basically, as far as I can understand, you basically have two samplers, if you will, and you've got these different voices. You've got this blur, which is the signature sound, which is like, that's the kind of neutral 0, plus 1 octave, minus 1 octave, and then one of either, which is, I think, how that guy made that sound on that YouTube. And then there's a synth, and there's glitch, which for me isn't particularly useful. Again, the swell is just a very short thing. Basically, what it does, it recognises when a note comes in, and it starts just switching between the samplers. Gets a bit confused in mono if you're playing polyphonically, so you can switch that over. is quite fun and glitchy, and I guess if you're using it as a performance tool, it's quite interesting. But for making sounds, what I like about creating sounds is not just creating a tone, but creating a performance within a tone. So when I'm using these things, I want to be able to minutely adjust them so that the tone evolves and changes before it loops. I think a useful way of making sounds on this is to set the envelope time to infinite, the LFO shape to a sine wave so it has a smooth thing. But then it's surprising at how little I can do with that sound when it's doing its thing. So basically in this manual mode, what we can do is hit a note, trigger that sampler, hit another note, trigger that sampler. Now if I take off the envelope time, it just shortens the note, so that's not particularly useful for us. So again, now I can change the envelope shape, but the minute I do that, it just switches off the samples. And likewise, if I change the voice style, it just switches it off with a nasty little glitch there. So the only knob I have to fiddle around with is the drive knob, and I've got much better distortion units to do that kind of stuff. So all it is this dimension thing. So I think kind of from a sound design point of view, its application is limited. And for me, not worth the 400 odd quid that I've just paid for it. I am going to make some sounds with it, linked below. Because it's mono, I need to layer up the sound. So basically what I'm going to do is a checkerboarding style. So usually what I do is just sample in octaves and always tune down, never tune up samples. For some reason, that always sounds rubbish. So that'll be the root note, tuning down to A flat, G down to A flat. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm actually going to do it in fifths, and then I'm going to overlap pan left and right, so you don't actually hear the different in points of the different samples, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to do a few guitars and then see what some other sounds sound like through that. So anyway, just one more thing. There's a director called Kevin Smith, and if you haven't seen his off-the-cuff anecdote about writing Superman, check out the link below. That is the business that we're all getting into. It's mental. Now, he had a heart attack this weekend at the age of 47, fortunately survived, but it was as he calls it, a real widowmaker of that style of heart attack. He was in the right place at the right time. And that sparked me into action. Ever since moving to Scotland, I was hoping to get fit and healthy and lose a bit of weight. I've become definitely a lot healthier, my blood pressure's come down, but I haven't managed to shift the weight. Basically, what I'm going to do is take some affirmative action. If we wanted to try, a few of you wanted to try a bit of strength in numbers, I thought I'd get one of these. I was just thinking, if any of you have a Fitbit, or if you were to buy one, they're not particularly expensive, then what you can do is link up with me, linked below, and we could try and kind of egg each other on a bit. It's not a kind of grand plan. I just thought, seeing as we're a community of unhealthy, largely media composers, it might be good for us to give each other a kind of leg up. Don't want this vlog to become a fitness thing, and I won't rub people's noses in it because it winds me up when I've feel I should be getting better, but I'm in the thick of a horrific project and I'm not eating very well. But anyway, this is my new breakfast. Breakfast in the clouds, a juice of some sort. Calorific restriction, they say, is secret to longevity. Anyway, if you like what I do, hit like. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Loads of stuff coming up that isn't fitness related. Cheers.